this only for exactly 1 hour. We don't want to bore anybody. We want to give it 1 hour, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a balanced, probably 13 and a half minutes. At the end of it all, we expect each one of you to have spoken at least a quarter of the hour, which is only up to a maximum of 15 minutes if we all go over. So I'm going to make sure that we have the ground rules. And first of all, I want to congratulate you for taking a leap forward in offering yourself as candidates to be president of Mwanyagetinge. And to be sure, I want to make sure that you all have, like I mentioned, the equal opportunity in hair time. And I'll start by giving high-level introduction of you, and then both of you, all of you will have opening statements to make of up to 1 minute and 30 seconds. And thereafter, I'll ask questions and I'll call you out to answer those questions. The same questions that I ask will be the same questions all of you will answer. There will be moments for you to reparters. If somebody, however, says something that is more like an attack, you will have 30 seconds to repart back. Otherwise, we are beginning momentarily here in 30 seconds. So welcome again to KK TV, Dr. Omandi Show, a special edition for Mwanyagetinge presidential elections that are coming up within the next 1 week and 2 days. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm really very privileged to host very eminent, well-reserved and important guests who have offered themselves to be president of Mwanyagetinge. So I'll start by introducing those that are with me today. And we have, as I call you out, you might wave, so the audience will know who that is. Jared Waro. There you go. Jared Waro is a resident of Minnesota who is working towards his bachelor's degree at Metro State University. He currently has an experience as a regional coordinator of Uwezo Kenya Corporation with Young Christian Organization. Also, he is involved at Nyaribari Organization as a volunteer board member. He also volunteers at United Way Twin Cities, very eminent, and is also the chairman of Usalendo Initiative, a group where he mentors and gives financial advice to its members, and he works very diligently in doing so. Welcome, Jared, and thank you for offering yourself as for presidency of Mwanyagetinge. Next, I have Ulda Momanyi. She is running for president as well, and she has the following qualifications. She has an undergraduate degree and a master in global business management, a certified privacy professional, a founder of Sunny Naps, a project initiative that empowers girls and women in Kenya, and proud to say that she has also been able to donate over 400 reusable masks to the community of Mwanyagetinge during this pandemic. She's widely serving as a secretary of Mwanyagetinge under the leadership of President Chui. She was able to work with the Kenyan embassy in Washington, DC, and bring Kenyan identification card exercise within the Twin Cities. That is Ulda. You want to wave to the...
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Good. And next, we have Susan Mabera. Susan is a teacher/nurse. She is a proud single mother of an 18-year-old son and she has the following experiences. She's a former vice president of AFC M Rocco 1307. She's also the current vice chair of DFL Brooklyn Park and a board member, Charter Commission on Brooklyn Park City. Currently, she's also a secretary of Minnesota African Coalition, and at the same time, she is the Hennepin County Engagement Team member and a member of the community organization. Welcome, Susan Mabera. Thank you. So again, I'll be asking questions in turns, and as I said, you will be free to challenge your opponent and so cause why you believe you will be the next, and you should be the next president of Mwanyagetinge. So I'll start with Jared, and this question will go around, and every question that is going to be asked, you have up to 60 seconds to respond. And the very best one that everybody is wondering out there, this is an unpaid position. You all know that. And Mwanyagetinge has been in existence for over 33 years. And over these years, presidents don't get paid. And there's a lot of work to eat. And somebody's wondering out there, why will you want to take these demanding, non-monetary jobs? Can you explain why you want to be president? Jared?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to express my feelings. I mean, my gratitude on how I'm going to serve the community, Mwanyagetinge community. I'd like to take this opportunity at the same time that those that are watching us and my opponents for just being here so that we can debate and then we can see where the thing is going to. The reason why I would like to be the president of Mwanyagetinge is based on the following grounds. I know we've been talking for so long, like these are the things we expect the community to do, and then they have not been done for so long. Then if I ask, I think everybody asked that question, why they're not done. Well, I mean, the answer is, our community has been fractured into different organizations, starting from the constituency-based groups, at the same time, the clan groups. That's the reason, that's the main reason why our community has not gone to the level it's being expected to. So in my office, I'll work with all the leaders from these small groups. That's the constituency-based groups, the clan-based group. I'll work with them to unite Omogusi so that we can work as a team based on any ground it might be on the ground. Another thing I'm going to do as a president of Mwanyagetinge, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm going to generate a group whereby we're going to call accounts of elders. I know as a community in the US, we are experiencing many problems that we don't even have to go to other people seeking for help. More especially, I've been involved with the Hmong community, the Somali community. I asked them, and it happened last week. I had to meet with one of my friends, Dad, who is a Hmong community leader. He told me there are some disputes that happen in their community that they don't have to go to court. They have to go to council of elders, whereby they talk, and then they solve the problem. So I'm going to make sure at the same time, these kinds of elders are going to be recognized in Minnesota by the state, by each cities. If you have a problem, if you have a problem, I'm going to generate a customer service number whereby you call and then your problem will be distributed to the Council of Elders. They'll have a review of your dispute or your problem. Once they have a review about it, they'll call you, or they will set up an appointment whereby they meet both parties and then they solve the problem. That way, there are some cases that they don't need to go to court, which are going to embarrass us as the community. So I'm going to work in relation to the Council of Elders, the youth, the kids, all the genders. I'm going to work with the women and the male, both sides. I'm going to work with them so that we can have a community that we belong, and then everybody will be proud of the community we're going to rule.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Same to you, Older. You know, this is really an unpaid position. And Mwanyagetinge has been around for a while, perhaps as long as more than 30 years. This position is very demanding. Why would you want to take this position unpaid? Very demanding.
So thank you so much, Dr. Nyachai. First of all, I want to congratulate you for your work in the community and what you have brought and the cornerstones that you have helped the previous leaders build for us in order for us to sit here and have this debate. So I appreciate your work and recognize your work within our community. Your question is very simple, and I won't take more than 45 seconds to answer it because I respect time, and time management is key to run a successful organization. So for me, you know, my story is very, very unique. I came here when I was 9 years old, you know, so back then we were united, you know, and I had told somebody this yesterday that back then, you know, all of us would go to the airport when one of us came because we were united as Mwanyagetinge, and because we knew that if one of us succeeds to get here, it was our responsibility to get them and to work with them and to provide them with the resources that they needed to succeed and to continue with their life. And I have to say that yes, this is going to be a challenging position, and it is unpaid, and it is, for the most part, it's not going to be worth the headache. But why am I running? I'm running because I still truly love and believe in my community. I truly believe that we are capable of bringing the change that we want to see in our community. I look at the Somali community and I envy them. I completely envy them. So to have the opportunity to unite all Kenyans, come together for the common good is beyond my wildest expectations. And the fact that I am, you know, this young and I see my Honorable Jared there, he's a young man. It's good to see young people being energized about Mwanyagetinge. A lot of young people that are out here who are interested, they're asking me, what is Mwanyagetinge? That goes to show you that we have not done a good job of educating our young community about who we are, what our culture is, and where we want to be. And I am running to bring back that unity that united us long before most of us came to this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for those brief remarks. Now, Susan, same question to you. Mute yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nyachai. It could have been nice if we could have communicated in our own language because we wanna bring back our culture. But because of the majority, I'm gonna talk English, but I'm gonna mix it up. We have our old parents here who does not even understand the English we speak. So why am I learning as a president of Mwanyagetinge? I'm learning to be the next president of Mwanyagetinge because with my experience, I came here 9 years ago. I went to school. I've been going out in different communities. I've interacted with different communities. I've created relationships with different community organizations. And whenever we go to meetings, they say, I'm from this organization. Then I look back in myself, where I look at myself and say, oh, every organization is sitting here on this table. Me, I'm here as an individual. So I'm learning to create the change that our Mwanyagetinge organizations needs to move to the next level. With my knowledge, I've been told Mwanyagetinge has existed for over 30 years. Mwanyagetinge people used to come from different states to come and celebrate as Omogusi. To me, I know Mwanyagetinge from the word itself. Mwanyagetinge is our Omogusi organization. So if I'm elected in the office, the first thing I want to see us having a community center where all these social programs can be held. We need youth programs in in our organization, Mwanyagetinge, which existed before, but somewhere they got lost. We need senior programs. We have our parents here. They sit in the house for so long. We need our parents to have a place where they can go socialize. And this place is going to be in that community center. This is all our activities are going to be held. Another thing is our community, Omogusi community, is spread all over Minnesota. And we have started other constituency organizations because people lost interest from this Mwanyagetinge, so they started the constituencies organization. Under my leadership, that's why I'm so glad for the caretaker committee by bringing these county representations. Under my leadership, I will work with the county representation and make sure we reach all our Omogusi where they are. Bring the resources closer to where they are. And with under my leadership, I will bring financial transparency on the table. My leadership is going to be members-driven leadership, where each member has a voice. Each member has to be listened to. If members, they ask for financial statement, they are given. So I'm running because of all those with my experience and the things I've done out here before even I'm elected in the office. What if I'm elected in the office? I would wish to talk in Ekegusi. Please, next time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Susan, for those remarks, Jared and Hulda as well. You all know this community has spread out in the Twin Cities. And the Twin Cities is really now massive. People live in the south suburbs, northern suburbs, southern suburbs, the western suburbs, and we are so spread out. As we are spread out and diverse in terms of geography within the Twin Cities, so is also diverse opinions. So it's also diverse in age. We have very young people ranging from very young all the way to even 70s and 80s. How, as a president of Mwanyagetinge, how are you going to make and bring this community together amazingly and harness all these and bring all these divergent opinions? Because we have people who are very opinionated, who are very diverse. How are you gonna do that? I wanna start with Hulda.
Great question, Dr. Nyachai. First of all, let me just start by saying diversity is what makes us stronger. When you have a diverse group of people, that means you have a diverse group of ideas. You have a diverse sense of ideas that can really help us get to the next level. If we all thought the same, we would be stagnant. But because we have that diversity, that makes us a rich culture, a rich community. So how do I plan on bringing all of these people together? First of all, it's about really knowing what the needs are of the community. How do we collectively come together and address the needs that we are facing here? We've talked about programming. All of us want to bring programming, but what does that look like? For me personally, when we talk about bringing people together, it is bringing them to an organization that is solidly found on structure. Right now, let's be honest, there's no structure on Mwanyagetinge. If you asked for a document, if you asked for this, if you asked for that, it's going to take you a long time before you actually get what you're asking for. And sometimes you might not even get it. So for me to be able to really bring all of this programming and implement all these things that we want to do for our community, we first of all must create a structure that will support that. And then from there, build this trust with all of these different communities. Because if you think about it, our Mwanyagetinge community is divided. Why? Because Mwanyagetinge has not served them well. Somebody doesn't leave an organization, a community, a family, you know, if it is serving them well. So that means we're not doing our job as leaders of Mwanyagetinge. So that's why there's this division, and somebody is going somewhere else to get the help that they need. So at the end of the day is looking at what their needs, what the challenges are, because sometimes we can talk about, you know, unity, but if you don't know what somebody is going through, you will not know how to help them. So really learning the community and getting to know what the challenges are, and then building a structure that will support all of this programming that we are all going to be talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jared. You are on mute. Unmute yourself.
Our community, we lost track by losing people we had in office. There was no accountability and transparency at all. That's the main reason why most of the people out here, they decided to depart away, and they decided maybe I can make a different organization, I can make a different group so that we can have a different agenda. But when you look at these small groups, the agenda they have is only one: helping the community. But now it's now based under constituency-based, all clan-based groups, all churches. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create accountability to the people. How am I going to do that? I'm going to create an open policy to the organization. If you need something, it's always there for you to see. I'm going to create in-house auditing team that it does auditing records in terms of finance when we have anything, which is going to be done maybe 3 times a year, maybe 4 times a year, so that I can show the community anything that is happening in the house is always known outside the community. So there's nothing I'm going to hide when in my office. On the other hand, I'm going to bring traditional cultural events whereby I'm going to make a get-together of the old people. They can come together, they share their ideas, whereby the young people, they can come at the same time, they ask for advice when people want to get into marriages, they can come seek for advice from these, our parents, so that they can advise you among other stuff. So I'm going to have a pledge, a channel pledge, whereby we're moving into a different level in a smooth way, whereby I'm going to involve everybody in the community, regardless of your gender, regardless of your marriage status, everybody, I'm going to involve them. At the same time, I'm going to incorporate all those leaders from different organizations. I'm going to have a channel whereby if we have a problem, the problem is being announced to Mwanyagetinge leadership, whereby the chairman or the office of Mwanyagetinge is going to communicate that information to the small groups, like, oh, maybe Bobasi has a problem, so this is the expectation from your group. We want you to do this and this and this so that we can meet our requirement as a community.
Thank you. Susan, the same question. Very diverse community. How are you going to bring all these people together with diverse minds, diverse ages, and all these we have?
Thank you, Dr. My unity will come this way. Before Mwanyagetinge 30 years ago, when it started, people were all united in Mnomogusi. When they lost interest, there was one common thing in Omogusi which brings us all of us together. Amatanga brings Omogusi together. So when this benevolent fund was disbanded, that is how the Omogusi decided to go into failures organizations. But I'm very grateful for the caretaker committee. We have now constituencies, chairpersons in the advisory council. So that is one way of bringing the Omogusi together. Because these chairpersons from constituency levels, they are now gonna be, they are acting as the person from that constituency. The appointed person from that constituency. So if I need to know the needs of Nyaribali, I go to this person, plus all the representatives. We have to work in a collaboration with the advisory council to meet our members where they are. With programs involved, we will bring those programs, as I said, youth programs, senior programs, and financial transparency. All these will bring that unity. Unity was lost because of all this disbanding the benevolent fund, financial transparency was lacking. Then people decided to move. But under my leadership, if I'm elected in the office, with the relationship I've already created out here. If it's a child, you have to know how do you approach this child. An elderly, you have to know how do I talk to this child. So in consideration of all those, Omogusi will come back as one unity, Yomogusi. We can even see from the registration.
Thank you.
We have seen the registration is coming up. So people are coming. So it's just to keep an inch pushing. Then we will be one Omogusi. I'm proud to be Omogusi, and I will be so proud to lead this organization to the next level.
Thank you. Now, you are running and very passionate, and I can see the passion in your statements and the energy you are going to bring to the table. And in a short statement of 45 seconds, what are you going to accomplish in the first 100 days in office if you are given that opportunity to be the president? Charles, 45 seconds.
The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure like we have a constitution in place that everybody we're going to call a constitution, not a draft, a constitution that everybody is aware of it. Everybody knows what the constitution entails. Secondly, I'm going to have council of elders set in place whereby we can go for consultations. These are the people who are going to solve the community disputes before it gets to court. And then I'm going to make sure these council of elders are being recognized at the state, at the city, at the county levels. Another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create accountability and trust, whereby I'm going to establish an office, a small office that does auditing.
Thank you. 45 seconds are over. Thank you very much. Okay. Susan, past 100 days, you are president today. Past 100 days, what have you accomplished in short statements?
Thank you very much, Dr. In the first 100 days, under my leadership, I will have to have a meeting with the county representatives and the advisory council to lay down the foundation of how we're going to move the organization forward. Also, we will have, under my leadership, in the cooperation of the advisory council and the county representative, we will have to create a next year activity calendar, because we will start the work immediately. We will have to create that calendar for activities so that we can be able to be booking venues for the activities for the next 1 year. Also, I will start rallying for the support of our community center. There is no office I will not knock to have our community center established. I will start with the cities. I will go to the county.
5 seconds are over. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Olga, 45 seconds. What will you do in the first 100 days?
So with the first 100 days, let's start off with a month. First of all, Mwanyagetinge has no structure. Let me be very clear about that. I will put down a structure. When I say structure, I mean processes. How do we conduct our business? How do we know what the requirements are to conduct certain tasks? And because I believe a strong structure allows you to build your programming, whatever it is that you want to do. And then also, I want to create goals. An organization cannot move forward without goals. What are our 1-year goal? What are our 5-year goal? What does that look like? And create a project plan of how we're gonna meet those goals and maintain that record. Number 2, I'm gonna centralize the communication platforms across the whole of Mwanyagetinge, because right now, currently, not all the members are included in everything, all the communications that is happening out here. So centralizing the entire communication from Mwanyagetinge so that everybody's aware of what's going on. We can account for everything that's happening, and then we know what's going on. Lastly, I will create a youth position. I was very disappointed when I saw that all of these seats that we are running for, a youth position was not there. Why not? Those are the next leaders of Mwanyagetinge. How come they're not included in this conversation? So I will have a youth position who will come, that individual will come in and help our youths to help us get this organization to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great. So I'm going to give you a rare opportunity here to differentiate yourself because you are all competing for the same office. I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask your opponent a question, your worthy opponent, a question that differentiates you from them. I'm going to start with you. This is really, and these questions I'm asking, nobody knew them. You all know that. You're just being surprised here. Hulda, what are you going to ask your opponents and what really differentiates you from them? By asking you that question.
Absolutely. So let me just clarify. Do you want me to ask my opponents questions or?
One question that you want opponents to answer.
Okay. So I will start with my honorable Jared here. You talk about doing all of these great things. You talk about creating this advisory group or council of elders. You talk about creating a in-house a group. You talk about customer service number. That is all great, but how are you actually going to carry it? How are you going to enable people? Because this is a free, nobody's getting paid to do this. So how do you promise the people that you will be able to, create those and maintain that as a sustainable model when this is just a volunteer project opposition?
First of all, I'm a student who is working on my bachelor's in business administration, so whereby I'm exposed to writing grants and proposals. So I'm going to seek some grants from the state at the same time because I have experience on how to write the grants proposals. At the same time, I have friends, my co-workers, I work with them. Their relatives, they are working at the state. At the same time, I'm going to make use of the money. As a community, we're going to collect funds from the community. We're going to fund the organization. That's the support. More especially, I'm going to ask the community to help us on that. Once we get that money, we're going to help to sustain our programs. That way, we can run the office without any inadequate money.
Susan, you're going to pick somebody, one of your opponents that you're going to ask a question. Who would that be and what is your question?
Okay, thank you, Daktari. My question goes to my sister Hulda. Sister Hulda, you said you have been in Mwanyagetinge and you were the secretary of Mwanyagetinge. I don't know what years you were the secretary of Mwanyagetinge. Can you give me and our community members what tangible thing you did, the legacy you left behind that will make us convince me like, yeah, you are capable, we can move you to the next level. You can bring this organization to the level it's required to be at the moment. Thank you.
Absolutely. My sister Susan, thank you so much for asking that very important question. So I've actually, let me just start with, I've actually been a secretary for 2 roles in Mwanyagetinge. The secretary for Mwanyagetinge, official Mwanyagetinge leadership team, that was back in 2014 when I was the secretary of Mwanyagetinge. Back then, that's when we had a young, vibrant leadership team. It was me, it was Wycliffe, Chewy, Lois Oburu, and Asneth Omare. We did the best that we could with the limited resources that we had, and we were able to accomplish, I'm not gonna name everything that we accomplished, but I'll name a few. Number one, we were able to work with the Kenyan Embassy in DC and bring the exercise of identification card to the Kenyan people here in Minnesota. That has never been done, according to my knowledge, for any other administration as far as I'm concerned. Number two, we ran youth programs like it was no tomorrow. Those people who are back then, remember, we were having barbecues, we were having sporting events, we were having a vibrant youth involvement. Number three, I was a part of the education programming because I'm very passionate about my education. As you can tell my resume, I have 3 undergraduate degrees and then a master's degrees. That shows you that I am very passionate about education. So I was a part of that committee. And what I did for that committee is I initiated a mentorship program, which took all of our youth, whoever who would reach out to us to Mwanyagetinge, we would also reach out to the families and churches and tell them, hey, this is available. We will connect them with admissions counselors in different universities around the Twin Cities. We would create opportunities for mentorship of the different various individuals within our community who are doing very well in their field, IT, nursing, healthcare, you name it. We were able to do that. So with that tenure, we accomplished quite a lot. That was the last time I believe Mwanyagetinge was as vibrant in the recent years as before. Now, my second position with Mwanyagetinge, Mwanyagetinge COVID-19 task force. This is a task force that the community allowed, the community basically entrusted to assist the community with COVID-19 cases. As the secretary of the COVID-19 task force, I have been consistent in updating the community, and everybody can attest that we have provided reporting of everything we've done. We have been open to any questions that people have thrown at us, and we have provided every detail of what we have completed. And I'm proud to say say that the people that I've served with, we have done some great work with the COVID-19 task force. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jared, it's your turn to ask a question. You pick your opponent, who you think is really your opponent, and you want to bring them down by asking them a question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nyachai, for giving me the opportunity to ask a question. My question goes to my opponent, Ulda. Ulda, I'm told you were in office as a secretary of Mwanyagetinge from 2014, and then you moved out of state. And then in that process of moving out of state, you, to me, I feel like you abandoned the community. You did not give any notes, as I know, you did not give any notes to the community. At the same time, there is no record showing that you handed over to the next secretary, which is Andrew Aguara. So what are you going now to convince the community? You're not going, if you get this opportunity as a president, you're not going to abandon the community, having you as the president. What makes us convincing? It's going to convince us that you are not going to abandon us and move, maybe to do something else.
That's a great question, my honorable opponent, Jared. Let me first clarify. The current secretary of Mwanyagetinge is not Andrew. Maybe he was after I left, but let me make it very clear that when I left, I had communicated with my team that I was leaving. And that was because honestly, I don't have to explain why I left, but I will do it because I do believe that the community, I owe the community to show that I'm transparent and honest and accountable for my actions. I left because of family. We had decided, my husband had gotten a job there and I had an opportunity to have a job there. And that was where my family was. We, Mwanyagetinge, pride ourselves in togetherness, unity. And that unity starts with a family unit, you know. So if we're talking about unity and that family unity is not there, then we've already broken Mwanyagetinge. And I did not abandon my position, my brother. I've never left Mwanyagetinge. If you look at my track record, everything that I've done, even from my project initiative that I have on the side of helping girls in Kenya, it has somehow tied back to Mwanyagetinge here in Minnesota. And secondly, while I was out of state, I was actually the secretary of Mwanyagetinge COVID-19 task force. Not a lot of people knew that. Everybody thought that I was here. So that shows you that I was still present here. I never left Mwanyagetinge. And if I become president, I have no reason, even if I don't become a president, I have no reason to leave Mwanyagetinge because I've never left. Just physically I'm not here does not mean that I'm not here advocating for our community. Thank you very much.
Very much. Follow-up question to you, just older, you mentioned you have been a secretary of the COVID-19 and you are still out of state. COVID-19 is a current pandemic that is ongoing. You moved back so most recently?
Yes, I've been here since June of this year.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, let's clarify that. I am here in Minnesota permanently. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I get a clarification, please?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Ulda, if I may ask, I have two questions for you. One question, who is the current secretary of Mwanyagetinge? Because you said Andy is not the secretary. Two, to me, I feel like, you know, you just came to Minnesota like in June. I think you don't need, I mean, like we are in the process of just orienting you to the community. So I mean, like that way, we telling you this is where it is, this is something, this is the way for you to go, this is the way to go. How are you going to convince us?
Olga?
So, Mr. Jared, again, you're missing my point. I never left this community. You know, and this is exactly what is missing. There's a lot of people who have left Minnesota physically, but are still a part of Mwanyagetinge here. Some of them are going to be hopefully participating. And so just because I physically left does not mean I left Mwanyagetinge. Again, everything I've done, if you look at my track record, it has tied back to this community here in Minnesota. So there's no such thing as orienting me, because to be honest, if you look at the current structure of Mwanyagetinge, any sort of structure that we have there, for example, the last minutes that were noted electronically, it was back in 2014 when we set up the SharePoint site that is still there to this day. You can go there and you can see the work that I did during that time. So I think I've answered that question.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Charlie, can I say something?
Or sure.
My sister Ulda, thank you so much. I recommend you for the work you did during the time you were the secretary. I wish you could have stayed in Minnesota. I think the time you left, that is the time the gap of all these activities, I think, died. So, and I thank you for sticking with the family, because family is more important. So I recommend you for doing that. But I wish you could have stayed, not moved out of the state. When you moved, all these activities moved with you, because by the time I'm coming to the United States, I never found any activity going on in Mwanyagetinge. So thank you, my sister, for the work you did that time and sticking with family.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Applied. Thank you so much. Can I ask a question or no?
Yes. No. Now each one of you has asked a question, I believe. And if you were kind of attacked, you were given a rebuttal. So unless you feel like you have something, I'll proceed to the next question. Mwanyagetinge community, I said, and I mentioned earlier on, is very diverse. But in this diversity, we have very difficult people, very opinionated people. I want you to be very specific how you deal with difficult people, and give us a very specific example. I'll start with Jared.
The first thing I'm going to do when it comes to diversity is making sure I'm involving everybody in any activities we're going to do.
Hold on a second, Jared. I don't want to I don't want to make it very confusing to you.
Okay.
Mentioned, we are very diverse, and in this diversity, we are very difficult people. And our community is non-white. Actually, we have very challenging people who are very opinionated. How do you deal with difficult people? Be very specific in giving an example.
When you look at my biography, I said I mentor people. When I mentor people from different diversities. In terms of economic, I mentor people. I advise them. For example, if you're having a financial difficulties, if you have a credit, you're supposed to spend less than 10% of the money you have in your account. So I mentor people in such a manner. They know how to deal with their financial difficulties. At the same time, I'm going to involve every individual. You know, as I said before, my office is going to be open policy administration, whereby if you have an opinion, you're welcome to come in. You come with your opinion, we filter as Mwanyagetinge administration. We filter your opinion, we see, can we move forward with your opinion, or what are we supposed to do with that? So I'm going to give everybody opportunity to participate in any activity that is going to be held by Mwanyagetinge.
Thank you very much. Susan, how do you deal with different people? Our community is known for having very opinionated people.
Thank you for that question. With my experience, I have worked with diverse community. I worked in Rift Valley before I moved here. Here in the United States, I work in a diverse environment, and I work with very difficult people. I work in the mental health. So I've learned how to have therapeutic communication. And I know the person who am I talking to. My audience, my communication goes in line with the audience. And I don't say we have difficult people, it's just different opinions. We always have to come into a consensus. So I know I have all that experience. Even the community work I've done out here, I've worked with different diverse communities, and I've created the relationship where we work like, oh, we knew each other for many, many years. We talk the same language to everyone. That I will bring everybody and meet everybody where they are, using my therapeutic communication skills.
Thank you very much. Hulda, how do you deal with difficult, opinionated people?
That is a great question. That is our community to the core, you know, and that's what makes us, you know, strong individuals. And as a leader, I believe it helps you build that thick skin and makes you a better leader, because you are forced to acknowledge that and address it. So you asked all of us to give a specific example. You know, I don't think any of my opponents gave a specific example. Let me give you a specific example. So in one of the platforms here, one of our members went out and basically, you know, let's be honest, threw my name out there and said that I have eaten all of the COVID-19 money, and now I am coming after the registration money, you know, and I'm sitting here going, my goodness, we have been as open as we can, and still we have somebody who feels that way. So this is how I deal with certain individuals like that. You know, I have to make sure that I build trust. If you build trust with somebody, even if they don't like you, they have to respect you. And so as a leader, as a Mwanyagetinge president, I don't want everybody to like me, but you have to respect me because I've earned your trust. And that's what I'm gonna aim for. Now, for those individuals who are very difficult in our community, let's be honest, we all are to some extent. I would say we have to stop with those little differentiations that really divide us. Because if we do that, we take away valuable time of actually coming together and discussing ways of moving our community forward. So I would urge, if you actually have an issue, bring it up. Let's talk about it. Because if we talk about it, we can move forward instead of sitting here, going off of rumors and wasting time, you know, creating all of this stuff instead of creating programs that will actually help us move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, we are coming close to the top of the hour, and we have 10 minutes here, and all of you, that you are going to be given a minute and probably 50 seconds to make closing statements. But before we get there, I want to make sure that you all have had an equal opportunity and said something that will make everybody out there listening to you to say, yes, that is my next Mwanyagetinge president. And that's the closing statements you're going to make are going to be an overall, it's your choice. You're going to make it, it's your choice. It's a choice where you're going to make your own closing statements and win the vote, win my vote, win the vote of those who are listening to you, win the vote of the community, because you're going to be voted in for the next 2 years. So with that being said, I'm going to ask Jared to go first, give us a 2 minutes closing statement and nail it so that people can vote for you.
First of all, I say thank you, Mr. Nchai, for giving us this opportunity to sell our agenda to the community so that we can let the community what we're going to do. At the same time, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my opponents for showing up tonight for having this debate. So in my office, the reason why I like people to vote for me is I'm going to listen to everybody. I'm going to value everybody's opinion, and I'm going to help to filter this problem you have. First of all, by creating a task, kinds of elders, whereby I'm going to make sure it's being recognized in all different levels that we expect. Number two, I'm going to make a streamlined constitution whereby it's going to be a guideline that we're going to use as Omogu City. Number two, I'm going to create accountability, transparency, and honesty by creating in-house auditing office, whereby it's going to be done maybe twice or 3 years or 4 times, depending on how we're going to agree that it's going to be conducted. At the same time, I'm going to bring traditional cultural events, whereby I'm going to have a get-together for the whole people. I'm going to have the youth to celebrate summertime. I'm going to create different activities at the same time. I'm going to give the community a chance in cooperation with our teachers in here, so that we can have maybe Kisi language school, maybe that people, you know, we need to refresh our language. If I ask you some questions, I am very sure there is those Kisi languages you don't understand. So these older people, they're going to help us so that we can have our Ekegusi in place. At the same time, we're going to have a customer service number whereby a community, if you have a problem, you're going to call. Once you call that number, it will take less than 48 hours for you to get a feedback. So from council of elders, that way your problem, you feel like it's being solved.
Thank you.
I'm requesting everybody's support.
Thank you very much. Now, Ulda, make your final pitch. Let's hear you talk. Final closing remarks, Ulda.
Yes, so before I do the closing remarks, let me once again thank you, Dr. Nyachai, for your leadership as the president of Mwanyagetinge. You know, those years, that's when we were really together, when you talk about togetherness. So I appreciate you so much for that. And before, my closing remarks are going to be very quick, because I think at this point, on my social media, on my personal page, everywhere, I've made a case of why Mwanyagetinge should vote for me. But before I go there, I wanted to ask a question. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to, but it's going to be a comment to my sister, Susan here. I know that we all know that she was a part of the caretaker committee. as the secretary, co-secretary. Now, one of the biggest issues that we've had is that no one can produce an actual live constitution. Right now, the one that we have is a draft. Why is that? And I don't need an answer. I just want people to really ponder about that.
Just a second there. And I think it will be hard for her to respond to that question. It's a good question. Mm-hmm. I think it's in order for us to give up some 45 seconds to respond to that specific question.
Yes, so let me finish my question. Thank you so much, because I think it's so important, because that's what's dividing us right now. Because if I win this election, I want to make sure that the next president, if it's me, is legitimate in office. So to my sister Susan, don't you think it's a conflict of interest if you are a part of the caretaker committee who is giving recommendations on behalf of the community, and you are the secretary, co-secretary of that committee, and right now we don't have a live constitution, and which is very, to be honest, it's very frustrating, because most organizations, those things are public. So my question is, can she answer where the live constitution is, so that it will guide us? Because if we don't solve that problem before we get to the elections, then you know what, there's going to be issues for the new leadership who is coming in. Thank you very much.
Susan, you have 45 to 1 minute rebuttal.
Okay, thank you, Sister Ulda, for that question. I have to say this. When we had a meeting, the caretaker was given a mandate to work with the current leadership of Mwanyagetinge to put in place the advisory council, which was the first item. And I can refer you to the constitution, or you look at the caretaker recommendation. The advisory council are the custodian of the constitution. So when we constituted the advisory council on June 21st, the caretaker committee work was done. The only person who was left in the office was the chairperson of the caretaker committee for consultation, so they can have the election done. So conflict of interest, since I was in the caretaker committee, is not there. And in the constitution, it does not state the caretaker committee cannot run for the office. I ceased to be the co-chair for the caretaker committee on June 26th, when the constitution was polished and accepted. So it was handed over to the advisory council, which consists of 15 members. Out of the 15 members, they had to get the 7 members to run the election, to have the election as the election commission to run for the program of election. So I I'm not in the caretaker committee, it's not there anymore. This work was done on June 21st.
So my question is, where's the actual constitution that has been signed? That's my question. I have no problem, my sister, running, because I'm so happy as a woman, we have women running. I have no problem at all. I'm just asking, we need this. If you win, my sister, I want you in that seat with a legitimate constitution that legitimizes your presidency. So that was my only question. Where is the live signed document? And can it please be provided to the community so that we can make sure come August 1st and 2nd, we have a live document that actually says, yes, this person has won it, the legitimacy of the president.
Okay, Sister Ulga, I repeat this again. On June 21st, the caretaker committee, I ceased to be the secretary. In that meeting, we had the advisory council and the caretaker committee when they polished the constitution. Now I'm not in the office, which I can say I have to. Now this is under the advisory council to produce the constitution.
So to confirm with you, your team did actually sign that constitution. Is that correct?
I don't have that mandate to answer that one. This thing is under the advisory council. I'm not in the advisory council. I ceased to be a member of the caretaker committee on June 21st. So I cannot breach the constitution and answer that question. I'm not in that position to answer that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, I love the lively discussions and rebuttals here. This is what it means to run for office. You ask difficult questions and those answers. Now we're gonna go back to, unless anybody has, I'm very open here to have that lively discussion and extend it, because I guess even your viewers are really looking at you and saying, wow, there is my vote. There's the and my vote. Now, anybody before Elder makes her final closing remarks? Yes, Jared.
I think there is one question that Ulda did not answer me. I asked her, who is the current secretary of Mwanyagetinge?
Yeah, Ulda, do you know who the current secretary of Mwanyagetinge is?
That's a good question. I actually, let's see here. I have it written down, but I don't. And do you know why I don't know? Let me tell you why I don't know. Because right now, nothing is recorded in Mwanyagetinge. You can't go there and say, give me the last minutes of the last meeting. You know, so having that, if you we asked in the forums, who is the caretaker committee list? Who is the advisory council? Who is this? Do you know, it's been 2 weeks since we've been asking and we have not been provided that. You know, and the last time I talked to the leadership of Mwanyagetinge, they told me that some of these positions, some of these individuals abandoned it. So because of the lack of structure we have in Mwanyagetinge, most of our community have no idea who's running Mwanyagetinge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to make you a final closing remarks.
Yes, Abantu Baminto, I've been here since 9 years old. And I want to tell you, I'm still a Kenyan at heart. I'm still a part of the Mwanyagetinge community, and I'm here to fight for you. As you can tell, I've been here for so long, practically almost as long as Mwanyagetinge has existed. My father was one of the founders of Mwanyagetinge. And back then, he used to talk about this unity, and what that meant. But we have to understand this one point, that our Mwanyagetinge is growing, is expanding. This is what I mean. And the diversity of our Mwanyagetinge has also grown, and we have to acknowledge that. It's time for a mind shift. It's time for a mind shift in regards to how we value our elderly. It's time for a mind shift how we value our youths, especially our youths. It's time to talk about how can we use the older generations, our leaders from the past, to bring all the good things that they did to implement it, to take our organization to the next level. This is what I'll say. At the end of the day, whoever you choose to vote for somebody who you truly in your heart know that will bring the change that we need in Mwanyagetinge. We are becoming diverse and our mindset has to change. This is why it has to change. When the Somalis succeed because when they came here, both of their feet were here. They knew this was it. But as a Mwanyagetinge, one foot is here, one foot in Kenya. But we have to change that mindset because our kids are growing up here. We are basically, our elderly are passing away here, and this is the reality of the situation. They are passing away here as well. So how do we create a sustainable organization that will help our community get to the next level? We have to have a mental mind shift. And with me at the top of the seat, I will bring that change, starting from the top all the way to the bottom. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Susan, you have 2 minutes closing remarks and a page for the vote, my vote, and the community's vote.
Okay, Mwanyagetinge, I'm requesting Monga Kere Kura. Why Mokonga Kere Kura? I have made connections out here. Already Mwanyagetinge Yaito is in the pipeline among the cultural community organizations in Enipini County. I tried to put there because I am from Omogusi. Mwanyagetinge is an Omogusi organization. When they were putting their cultural organization, I said, I have to see my own in there. Not only that, I'm out here in the community. Some of you know what I'm doing. I am already, we saw when we were having our meeting, caretaker meeting, committee meeting in March, back in March at Brooklyn Park. You saw already I have made the relationship with Brooklyn Park City. We have made the relationship with Hennepin County. Please give me a chance to deliver these things that we need for Mwanyagetinge, to have a community center up running. I will rally in every office in Minnesota. There is no office I cannot stay. If I go to the Attorney General's office, I get in. If I go to the governor's office, I get in. Give me a chance to move this organization to the level it's needed. Anybody, a leader from this organization, where they can also sit at the table with other community organizations, have the same share like any other organization. In Tomo, we see why behind all these years. In Tomo, we see more chance here. In the community center, Abaiboli Baito Chira. Mbata keire na baro banyo ora banyora nye binto biribaga kolre tu ababe kire nyomba mono.
Thank you.
If given a chance, these things will be delivered, and I promise it will be delivered. And this is the time. We know this is the time for change. This is the time for change in every level. I also advocate. I partner with other organizations. We advocate for affordable housing. Those are the things affecting us. So please give me this chance. Because I'm doing all this, what if I'm in the office? And I've also grown. I have all the time. I don't have little kids, which I will be sparing time. Like I have to take care of this family. My son is grown. So I have all the time to do all this community work. Abantu baminto, consider and look at what I have done. Even one of our own. I fought for that and said, if you are using community organization, community medias, you have to have our own, my community also has to have a contract. And I have one of our own having a media contract with Hennepin County. What if I'm in the office? Great things are coming on our way if you consider Susan Mabera and all these, my opponents. Thank you very much for coming up. If I'm elected in the office, I will still work with you because for me, I'm becoming an old lady. You are the ones going to take over. So please, yomo usio minto, digere di Susan Mabera, almost what Susan Mabera, muakere kura, alete change yerito tagete, ase organization yaito, yomo usi ekoro Mwanyagetinge, Mwanyagetinge na organization yomo usi. Thank you very much. Na ande mbiyamono daktari, Nyachai for hosting this. Thank you. Kero muswati yokoro kususa niye kura ya tarehe moja na tarehe 2 of August. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our presidential contenders. I want to thank Jared. I want to thank Susan. I want to thank Hulda for sharing this opportunity and coming out here and really passionately teaching yourself and putting yourself out there. And you're being, when you bring yourself out there, you're opening all these and you're open to attacks. And I thank you for developing that thick skin to bring yourself out there. We thank you. And I want to, on behalf of KJTV, Dr. Mani Show, this is a special edition that was really formulated for you to reach out to the community. Thank you again. And I wish you the best of luck. May the best one of you win. And all of us will come and really work behind you. Thank you and bye-bye. Good luck.
Thank you,
Thank you so much,
Thank you, our members.